First, let's talk about naming shapes. You need to know what the name of the shapes are for two reasons. So you A, know what shape your base is, and B, so you know what formula to use. This first one is going to be our rectangular prism. That means my base is a rectangle. Second one, we have a triangular pyramid. My base is a triangle. Third one, triangular prism. Base is a triangle. And the fourth shape is our rectangular or square pyramid, which has a square or rectangular base. You need to know these shapes. So A, you know what shape your base is to calculate your capital B, as well as B, what formula to use, prism or pyramid. To go over our formulas, for all prisms, rectangular and triangular, you're going to be using B equals capital B times H. And for your pyramids, triangular and rectangular or square, you're going to be using B equals 1/3 capital B times H. What is the volume of a shoebox that measures 14 inches by 8 inches by 8 inches? When in doubt, draw a picture. Shoeboxes are rectangular prisms. So to start, rectangular prism. It doesn't matter how good or bad your picture is. So let's start plugging in some numbers. Let's call our base 14. The width of our base we'll call 8, and the height of our pyramid we'll call 8. So, what shape is our base? Well, it's a rectangular pyramid, which tells me that my base is a rectangle. 14 and 8 are the dimensions of that bottom piece that I'm going to use. So, area formula is base times height. Base is 14, and our height is 8. Multiply those together in your calculator. We get 112. So, volume formula for prisms, capital B times H. So 112 is the area of our base. We're going to plug that in for capital B. So 112 times H, which is the height of our prism. What connects one base to the one across from it? Well, what connects the bottom piece to the top? That's those side pieces, which are 8 inches. So 8 is going in for our height. Multiplying together, and you'll get your answer of 896 inches cubed because it's volume. Rectangular prisms are the only shape where really what you're doing, you're multiplying the base, which is technically in the bottom of your shape, unless you picked a different one, and then you're multiplying it by the only number that you didn't use. So for rectangular prisms, all you're doing is multiplying the three numbers together. Find the height of a triangular pyramid with a volume of 270 cubic centimeters and a base with side lengths of 15 centimeters and a height of 4 centimeters. First, what shape are we working with? Triangular pyramid. So, pyramid formula for volume. Volume equals 1/3 capital B times H. I'm going to draw a picture so that I can plug some numbers in to use. Triangular pyramid tells me that my base is a triangle. Everything comes to a point. Now I can work on what information I have. So find the height of the pyramid. We don't know the height. That's what we're solving for. With a volume of 270 cubic centimeters and a base with side lengths of 15. So my base is a triangle. The side lengths are 15. And the height of that triangle is 4. So, just to draw a two-dimensional triangle, since that's where my capital B information is coming from, because I have a triangular pyramid, I know the height of that triangle is 4, the base is 15. Well, capital B is the area of my base. If my base is a triangle, I need to use my triangle formula. 1/2, the base of that triangle is 15, the height is 4. 15 times 4 gives me 60. Half of that is 30. That's going in for capital B. Now, what else do we know about the problem? Find the height of a triangular pyramid with a volume of 270 cubic centimeters. So we actually know the volume. So once you figure out the pieces that you do know, let's plug them back into our equation. So instead of V, I'm going to put 270 equals 1/3. We just found B to be 30, and we don't know H. We do not know our height. I need to solve for H, so whatever is with it on the same side of the equal sign, why don't we combine so that we have less to move over? So 1/3 times 30, same thing as 30 divided by 3, which gives us 10. Now we have less to have to move over. So 10 and H are being multiplied, so to move the 10 away from the H, we have to do the inverse operation, which is to divide by 10 on both sides. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 1 times H leaves us with the variable. 27 times 10, or 270 divided by 10 gives me 27. It's my height. So going back to my figure, if they gave me the height of the pyramid, think about what your units would be. With the answer choices we have up here, I know it's not going to be squared because that's area, and we're not working on area. So the dimensions inside of my triangular pyramid are just going to stay centimeters, just like the 15 and the 4 that they gave us. So 27 centimeters for that one. Find the volume, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. First, let's figure out what kind of shape we have so we know what kind of base we have. I see a triangular prism because there's a triangle at the front, which is parallel to the triangle at the back. So, since I have a triangular prism, I know my base is a triangle, so I'm going to write this information separate because this is where I'm going to get my capital B information. For finding the volume of a triangular prism, our formula, volume equals capital B times H. So, we need to figure out what that capital B is. That's the area of our base, which is going to come from this triangle up here. The area formula for a triangle, 1/2 base times height. Base of our triangle is 8. The height of our triangle is 4. Take half of that. 8 times 4 is 32. Half of that is 16. It's the area of my triangular base, so that's going in for capital B. 16 times H, that's going to be the height of my prism. So what connects one base to the other base? Well, that side piece connects them, and I know that that side piece is 10, so that is the height of my prism. 16 times 10 is going to give me my volume, which is 160 cubic inches. The area of the base of a pyramid is 85 centimeters. If its volume is 255 cubic centimeters, find the height of the pyramid. So first, we know we are working with a pyramid. Let's come up with our volume formula for a pyramid. 1/3 capital B times H. Now, let's go back to our problem and see what we know. They give me the volume, which is 255 cubic centimeters. So 255 is going to go in for V. 1/3. Capital B, that's the area of my base. Looky here. Area of base of a pyramid is 85. So we don't even have to find capital B. And we're finding the height of the pyramid. So that's what we do not know. Now, if there's anything you can combine, why not? Make less work for ourselves. So 85 divided by 3, or times 1/3, gives us 28.3 repeating, times the height, equals 255. Now I have less to move over since I combined the 85 and the 1/3. So 28.3 and H are being multiplied. The only way to solve is to do the inverse and the opposite and divide by 28.3 repeating on both sides. So your height should should get 9.00000. Yes, there are other numbers there. It's because of that repeating 3. So just to round, we're going to stick with 9. And then you would go back. Your units for height are not squared or cubed. They're just whatever it is in the problem. So centimeters for this example. Composite figure. Find the volume of the composite figure. Composite figures for volume are a little better than composite figures for surface area because we're trying to figure out how much water, for instance, we can fit inside of these two figures. You don't have to worry about subtracting out that extra piece. We just have to find them separate and add them together. So I'm going to draw 2 of the shapes. First, let's start with the top. It's going to be our rectangular pyramid because it comes to a point. The base of that pyramid is 20. The height of that pyramid is 10. Sorry, the actual height of the pyramid is 6. I was talking about the base. Alright, so now we have a pyramid. Our volume formula for a pyramid, volume equals 1/3 capital V times H. So 1/3 in the formula, copy that down. Capital B, that's the area of my base. Well, my base is a rectangle. Area formula for a rectangle is base times height. Base is 20, the height is 10. So my area is 200, that's going in for capital B, times the height of my pyramid, which is 6. So 6 times 200 divided by 3 gives you 400. That's just for that top piece though, so now we have to go back and calculate the bottom, which is a rectangular prism. So I'm going to take this 400 and put it up here for now, so we're going to need that later on. So let me draw, that rectangular prism. The base is still 20. This is 10. And then now let's figure out that height. Sorry. That height is 10. I'll put that down here. Sorry, my board is a mess. 20, 10, and 10. Alright, rectangular prism. This is the best shape. Is to find the area of our base, we have to multiply base times width, or length times width, whatever you want to think of. Then, we're going to have to multiply by our height, so we just have to multiply the 3 together, which gives us 2,000. You could do it separately if you wanted to. I'll just show you that you'll still get the same answer. Here's your rectangle, and then this side's 20, and this side's 10. Area of a rectangle is base times height, so 20 times 10 gives me 200. Now our volume formula is capital B times H for prisms, so 200 times the height, which is 10, gives you the same answer of 2,000. So we now need to go back and add these together. 2,000 is the surface area of our rectangular prism. 400 was, or the volume of our rectangular prism. 400 is the volume of our rectangular pyramid. Add them together. And then just remember, all volume is always cubed, because as you see, we could have 2 separate answers, but it's not squared because that's our area. So 2,400 meters